Good evening and welcome. So this is the Berardi Cook for. I've written Notts Forest and I spelt Forest with 2 R's because Notts and Forest with 2 R's really gets up their nose. The fans of them. So actually, we until we're 30 seconds in, nobody from YouTube watching live will be able to join us. So this is just for those on Aircast and watching back on YouTube. So yeah, just a little bit of waffle from me because we're just about to drop on. People will start joining now. A win, and a good feeling that comes along with that. How are you doing, Jay?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm feeling a lot better. Weirdly, you know.
So we'll run an intro and we'll get right into it.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds eating bastard. Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No. You utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Nothing spectacular, really. Well, I've got to be honest, I don't think that matches what happened last night. It matches what goes on here, on the regular, but
Absolutely
not last night. So, first off, let's talk about the emotions. Before the game, through the game, after the game, how did you get on?
Well, I'll go straight to after the game just to say, I thought after seeing a result and performance like that I'd be absolutely buzzing, jumping around. But do you know what? I was completely drained. I felt like I had nothing left to give, and I was just really I was subdued and just quietly drinking a pint and smiling a lot. But yeah, I mean, start of the game, the atmosphere was awesome. Everybody knew how important it was. Everyone was up for it. Everyone's singing, you know, awesome as usual. We started so well. We were battering them from the off, and you just thought, we're going to score soon. It's just a matter of time here. We're absolutely killing them. Then that goal went in, and you could feel the air suck out of the ground. It just felt silent. And then them scabs in corner found the voice all of a sudden for a few minutes. And yeah, it were a proper roller coaster because at that point it was just dread. It was just that setting in of, oh my God, we're really in trouble now. And then we went from that to shortly later getting an equaliser. And it's just elation again. And you're back up there, you know, jumping around like a nutcase and hugging strangers as you do. And then we got the second goal, and that were it. Everyone just went insane. But then from there, you thought it was going to be easy, and we were going to just cruise through that, score a couple more. Well,
just remind me of the club that you support.
I know, but the way we were playing, you know what I mean? You hope that sometimes you're going to get a break, don't you?
We don't do easy.
We don't, but you still hope for it sometimes. But they just couldn't score after that, and it was just bizarre. Some of the chances that we threw away, notably the one with Bamford, where he brought it down beautifully, he turned, he had all the time in the world, and he didn't even hit the target.
And he wasn't on his own either, was he? It was the same end, the same mass amount of time, and the same space, and the same result for Paddy and for Jimmy.
Yeah, that's it. And then Somerville went through, and you thought, well, he's going to put this one away. Missed the target completely.
So no, that's fair. So we can get into some of the specifics. I think you're probably right in terms of emotion. It was. I mean, we know what a roller coaster this club is, and what you know, the mill that it puts us through emotionally, really puts us through the ringer. We've all been there. To focus specifically on the pre-match, when the team came out, any surprises in that for you?
Not really. I was hoping for Nonto, but I knew it were probably a long shot, so not massively. No, not massively.
I think the surprise for me
was
Jimmy.
I was a little surprised that Erling started.
Really? Okay.
I thought he got a bit of stick last time out, and I thought maybe he'd put Rasmus back in because he's done all right when he's come on. But yeah, that was probably the only real surprise.
The surprise for me with Jimmy, because I thought against Arsenal, it was a good outlet for us. He looked dangerous. I get the point in terms of I made the point on the main podcast on Monday night about the defensive requirement and that sort of piece, and that you don't really get from him what you get from some of the others. Aronson will run and run all day. He weighs nothing. It's if you weigh the same amount as a bag of crisps, you can run all day. Yeah. Jackie will always put that defensive effort in and will always put the work in, and you don't really. I don't think it's work rate. I think it's not really getting the position and the requirements of the position yet. It looks like he works hard. It's just, when we don't have the ball, he never seems to be in the right position. So I get that because it was so important that we were on the front foot, but that we didn't get caught out. And early on, actually, that was the shape of the game, wasn't it? That you could see from their perspective that they were sitting deep and they were trying to hit us on the break. There were, I think, there were at least one fairly decent opportunity where I think they'd made it a 2-on-2 on the break before they scored. And then Dennis hit the post, which I didn't even realise until I watched back the highlights. I thought that Melia had saved it. So where I was sat, which I'll be honest, I'm never going back there again.
Really?
Yeah. So I was in the northwest corner, which is the first time since the Champions League days that I've sat in the northwest corner. So I quite
behind a pillar.
No. So the old wooden West Stand seats.
Yeah.
So they're still there, and they're in the northwest corner. Everybody sits down. So we stood up at start of game, and then the marching on together's done, and I'd put in the group. I only just made it in for marching on together because I were with this walking stuff. I were proper towing. We'd walk from White Rose, and by the time we got past crematorium and onto Ellen Road proper, I was like, fucking hell.
You were probably ready to get in crematorium at that point.
And then there was an issue getting through turnstiles because it's been, like I say, it's been a long time. What's that? 20 plus years, and the queues were insane last night.
Yeah, they were on our side. They were all the way around.
Yeah, well, we walked around, so we went past back at East Stand and could see them queuing out there, and it was really, really strange. I'm thinking queues are never like this, but we were slightly later, and I was thinking maybe this is normal, but it didn't look normal. But I don't know how long it's been since you've been round to West Stand, being a season ticket holder in Cheese, but
long time.
But all of the queues just go to one turnstile. In other areas of the stadium, you'll be in one queue, but there'll be 2 or 3 turnstiles that you can go through. So if one, if you get the dreaded bit, one gives you that thing where actually everybody's just waiting for you to get out of the way and piss off to ticket office and miss kickoff so that we can get in stadium.
Absolutely. Andy says, I've been told to sit down before sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
Like they actually tell you.
It's not fair if there's somebody, if everybody sat down around you, it's not fair to stay stood up because the person behind you can't see them, what have you. But I am used to northeast, lower, Cheese, south, Cop. That's where I want to be. I want to be. I don't find it's the same experience when I'm sat down at football. You don't really get into it. You don't feel the same game really.
It doesn't. But it's like when you stood up and you're watching, your whole body's moving.
Yeah, you're cheering, you're into it, you're chanting, and it's just not the same sat down.
There's no substitute.
Yeah, but I'm not kidding. Honestly, with those pictures that we saw, the Victoria Sponge at Fulham, we were only one step away from that. There were sandwiches and thermoses out at half time, and I am not kidding. I am absolutely not kidding.
Thermoses.
And I'm in my 40s, and there were 2 of us there around the same age, and I reckon we halved the average age of the road that we were sat on.
Whereas in Cheese Wedge, there's an old bloke behind me who must be 75 or something, and he brings a hip flask with him. No thermos, do you know what I mean? It's proper in Cheese Wedge.
So, next 2, 3 games, I'm in Cheese. So,
good.
Yeah, we'll be over there and get the. In fact, 3. We're there for Liverpool. We're there on weekend. So next 3 games we're in Cheese. So that'll be decent.
Good stuff.
In fact, we're sat near you for for next one. I think Bren got them
Oh,
tickets.
yeah.
So,
Cool.
not too far away. So, enough rambling about where I was sitting. It was just. Do you know that thread that were on Twitter not so long since about how decrepit the entire stadium is?
Oh, yeah.
It's bad over there. It's fucking bad. It really is.
Do you know what? My mate who posted, he originally posted that picture of the Chernobyl Children's Centre, and he actually got DM'd by a woman who works there, and she said, "Can you take that down, please? It's not fair. We don't get any money from the club. It's a private thing now, and we've improved it since the club let go of it."
Shit.
Yeah, I only found that out last night. He says to me while we were stood there, while we were admiring how beautiful it all looked.
Wow.
Wow. And I was just like, "Why'd you take it down?" And he was like, "Well, I just couldn't be asked for hassle, so fair enough."
No,
But, yeah.
I mean, if somebody messages it and says, "Please, could you do that?"
Yeah,
You've got to be a knob to say no, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not good news. Oh, the Scum are winning, and West Ham have got to go back against Newcastle. What the fuck's that?
Unbelievable. Unfucking
Right.
believable.
Okay, so I've rambled more than enough for all night, I think, so far. But we've spoken about the as I say, I thought, going back to the lineup, I thought Jimmy had done enough against Arsenal to keep his starting position, but I'm absolutely not having a go at his replacement. I think Cini came in and had a really, really good game. So, you know, and we can get into that. We've got a guest, so we're going to bring Matt in now, and then we'll just get into the game proper. So we'll have a talk about the first half and where we go from there, and then we'll get into the second half. So,
hey guys,
now then, Matt.
Welcome along again.
Hello.
Get to be a regular now. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good win. You know, makes me happier.
Excellent.
On the weekend, because I live in Australia, I support 3 teams and they all lost on the weekend. So that was great.
Hang on, when you say you support 3 teams, these are not all English teams, right?
No, like different sports.
That's
right. Okay,
that's okay. I was worried there for a moment. You know, you might not have been the right caliber for this podcast.
There is a thing that that Rhinos and United cannot be good at the same time. It's, you know, when Sinfield and all of the side around him were really, really doing well, Leeds United were in League One, and now Leeds are back in Premiership, and you know, Rhinos can just about buy a win, one in 4 or something. So, you know, we can't have 2 doing well at the same time. But both still in the top flight, so I'm gonna take that. So I asked Jay about the way that he felt about things before the game. So let's then come to yourself, Matt, and say, before they scored, did you feel like we were in any danger?
I thought we were gonna win. Like, I thought they not that good. Like, I thought they've never, like, they haven't really shown anything. And what was it? They've only scored like 4 goals all season before that game.
Now. We gave them 1. 5 now.
Yeah. But like,
you're right.
even
It was 4 away goals all season that scored going into the game.
Leeds United football charity.
Even when they did score, I thought we'd turn it around. I thought we had the ability.
I thought that. I was really pleased that we just carried on as we were after that goal. We just went back to it. There were no sort of on the back foot or worrying about the fact that we've conceded. No one panicked. Everyone just stuck to the game plan, just went straight back to it. And that really impressed me, to be fair. Don't think we'd have got that under Jesse Marsh.
No, I think you're right. And I think if you go back to the first 1 or 2 games under Gracia, you know, one of the things Luke and I have echoed a couple of times since as well is resilience. It looked like the team had it.
Yeah.
So not just the shape, but the mentality as well. It looked like they had some steel about them, and that actually, if something goes against you, that you're not just going to capitulate. Which, you know, it under Marsh for me, and this might be harsh, but under Marsh for me, it felt like a late 90s, 2000s England cricket batting side. That, you know, you lose 1 wicket and all of a sudden 9 have fallen, and you know, there's just chaos going on all around you, and you've got no idea what's going on. So, you know, that that might be a little harsh, but that is how it felt for me at the time.
Yeah.
I think, as I mentioned before we brought Matt in, I mentioned the shape of the game and the fact that they'd had one chance, they'd had one clear break, and then they'd had the chance. I think they got the corner from that break, and then they hit the post, and then they did get the goal. They got the noses in front. Now, at that point, I turned and I said, this is going to be a fucking awful game now, because they're just going to shit house. They're not going to want to play football. They're going to spoil. They're going to waste time. One of the greatest things in football, it's one of the things I enjoy most, and I'll come on to a couple more, but one of the things I most enjoy about playing football, and especially watching Leeds, is when a side shithouses against us and then drops behind. And then they have to play football.
Amazing.
It's just delicious, isn't it?
It's amazing. I'm still buzzing off the Wolves fans complaining about time wasting. Do you know what I mean? It's that good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking about that, there's now Podence never really spat at the weekend. It's just they're out to get us, and they're going to ban him for nothing. There's no evidence that he spat.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Even though he made the motion of somebody spitting at an opponent, and the opponent said he was spat at. Other than what other evidence is there? What do you need? So
they're becoming like a parody of a club, aren't
they? They really are. I mean, that is a real complex that they're building there, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't want to be careful with that.
So I think the shape of the game at that point could have really gone south. The point was made on Twitter and elsewhere in group chats and so on, that you could hear a pin drop when that goal went in, and the weight of expectation. It was almost like it doubled, like somebody thrown a weighted blanket on it, and you could feel the weight of that, and it was oppressive.
Yeah.
But it were only oppressive for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then it seemed to lift.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And
I think that's partly because we did go straight back to what we were doing, and it just made everybody in the stands think, fucking hell, we've not caved in here.
So did it feel, because we're in the northwest and you in the cheese, where we couldn't have been further away from each other?
Yeah, we were literally opposite.
Yeah, opposite ends, opposite corners. So it felt that way right over the other end as well.
Yeah, it went silent, didn't it? Just like the air sucked out of the ground, and they were just like, it just kicked the stuffing out of the supporters. Everyone just were like, oh shit.
But it didn't last that long. That's the strange thing. It didn't last long. So Matt, you'll watch on did you watch it live on TV?
Yeah.
Because being outside of the UK, you're allowed to watch whatever you want to watch. It's just the struggle.
We can't watch our own football.
Yeah. So when you were watching the game, did you pick up on the atmosphere?
Yeah, it did drop. It did drop, and then it just lift. Like, I feel like it just lifts every time though. We get a chance, and then it always just lifts straight away.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's good that came across. Obviously, you're never really sure when you're in the stands. You never really, you don't know if it's just local to you. You don't know if it comes because they can drop and raise the microphones as they will, can't they? They can show really what they want to show. So you're never sure that it comes across. So no, that's fair. So
I just got to pull up this comment from Andy.
Yeah, shoot.
Was perfect when Jackie scored on TV. Yeah. All the Forest fans were chanting, "Where's your famous atmosphere?" Brilliant. It was good. I really enjoyed it. They went silent just as fast as we did. That were it, and you never heard a peep from them again for the rest of the night.
No, absolutely not. No, that is a really fair comment. Just in terms of personnel, Matt, just going back to the question I asked Jay before we brought you in, were there any surprises for you in the lineup?
I thought Somerville again maybe should have started because of your performance, but Sinisterra is he's 10 times better player. I honestly don't think he'll be here for that long.
I think that's
I honestly think him being injured is maybe a good thing for us that we get to keep him for another season. Because I feel like he's going to he's amazing.
Bear in mind, Jimmy did score in 4 consecutive games from the wing. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, and then you saw his chance
So
at the
did
end.
Sinisterra.
You know, no, it was Rodrigo, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah,
Rodrigo
was,
and Jimmy. No, you are absolutely right, Matt, and it'll be the main podcast that it's talked about. But that was Jimmy stealing 4 points from me because I went 3-1 in the predictions league. So yeah, that was.
So did I.
That was him biting his thumb at me.
I don't know if you saw it, but when they hit the bar, it was almost a penalty. Bamford it almost hits his hand. It's like not
Really?
that far off his hand.
No, I'd not picked up on that.
Did either of you guys absolutely shit your pants when you saw Jackie closing in on that ball in the air, thinking he's going to sky this? Because I did. I thought, oh God, and then it went
I was right behind him. Obviously, the angle I were looking at, I was right behind him, and you could see from his body position, he had his head right over it, and I'm thinking, goal, no problem, goal, and he did.
It didn't look like that from where I was. I was shitting my pants, honestly. I just thought, if he skies this now, it's going to really knock the stuffing out of us. But it highlights again the importance of actually taking shots, because that came from a shot being spilled by the keeper. You don't get that if you don't shoot, and we do not shoot enough.
It was,
yeah.
It was Rocco, yeah. And you know, Navas is he still a quality? He's probably not the quality he's been, but he's been a quality keeper through his career, you know. I think when you, I think the replay of the Rocker shot that I saw, it were moving around a bit, and I think he pretty much did. You know, the point I'm making is I don't think there's much blame can be attributed to the keeper for him just parrying it out, because it were a pretty wicked shot, and you know, following it up, being the first to react, that's exactly what we look for, isn't it? So no, I think for me, the important thing was the OAPs around me were saying we need to get one before half time, and I'm sat there thinking, do you know what? If we do get one before half time, I think we'll go on and I think we'll walk this.
I felt the same, to be honest. I thought if we go in at sort of half time 1-0 down, I were worried that we'd put so much energy into all that attacking that we'd tire in the second half and we wouldn't be able to get a goal if we didn't get one by that point.
Yeah, I mean, you could see what a lift the players got from the goal. So yeah, you can see the atmosphere, the energy was sucked from the crowd by their goal.
Yeah.
But then our players got such a massive boost from our goal that you could see that actually it could have just maintained how flat it was had we not scored. But then Cine stepped up. I mean, everything about it for me, you know, he went on his right, he shimmied back to his left, but actually didn't. Completely through a dummy, bought himself half a yard, 1 yard, and then just put it away. You'd have been closer to both goals than me because, you know, as I said, we were down the other end. Just from your perspective, when Cine's lining that up, are you thinking hit it? Are you thinking cross it? What's happening around you? What's going? Is that what we're looking for?
So I'm going to confess that as he went past the first guy, I started screaming, "Why haven't you passed it? Why haven't you passed it?" Because there was someone stood at the edge of the box who was open. I was like, "Wah, pass it!" But yeah, and then it went in, and I was like, "Don't pass it. You've done great. Awesome."
You had your Lasoga moment.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. I thought he'd fucked it. I just didn't see that coming. It were a genius finish. It were really, really good play. And it's bits like that that show you just how good a player he is, the quality that he's got. And
he does. And I think sides are scared of him. You know, we've made the point several times on the pod before. I think when he gets on the ball, defence is back off. They don't know what to do with him. They don't know whether he's going to go left, whether he's going to go right, pass, shoot. And for me, when he's on the ball, I think he's got everything.
Yeah, we got a comment from Paul Brennan there just saying Cine will be important for the running. He's skillful and helps out the team. So fingers crossed the lad stays fit. He scored a beauty of a goal. Can't argue with that, can you?
No, absolutely not. And then just above it, there was a question that you've highlighted from Skip.
Yeah.
Who starts on the left when Nanto's back to full fitness? Surely we need to get both Cini and Nanto in the starting 11. So for me, I'll go first on this one. For me, I think he's being managed. So even when he's fit, he might not start. And I think that's trying to take some of the weight of expectation from him. And I think that's quite canny management.
Which one? Nanto or Cini?
Nanto.
Okay.
I think it's quite canny management because Willie wasn't injured when Grassi first came in, but he also didn't start a couple of games. And you're thinking, that's what we had before that was basically Marsh going, nope, he's not ready. Oh, fuck, if I don't start this guy, I'm going to get nothing at all out of this game. and then it was just everybody give the ball to Willie.
He did very quickly
see what he can do.
It very quickly became like Grealish for Villa. Do you know what I mean? He was the one player that you wanted to see the ball go to, and all the hope and expectation was on him. And he's like 18, 19. You can't do that to a kid.
And it's bad.
But we had nothing else to cling to at that point.
Yeah, but it's bad enough that we fans do that. But it also seemed like our manager was doing that, and that's
a person
that's
who should
really
know that.
bad. Yeah, that's really bad.
It doesn't speak well for his man management skill, does it?
It doesn't. So, question for I'll come to you first again, Matt. In terms of, so you've got an option of Paddy or Rodrigo up front. So let's say everybody's fit. You've got the option really of Paddy or Rodrigo up front, and then there's 3 positions behind them if you're on a 4-2-3-1. So the question was who starts on the left, but in terms of those front 4 attackers, if everybody's fit, where are you going?
Harrison on the left because you can't drop him. I think he's been our most crucial player. I think he's got like how many goals and assists? I think he's like got a goal and assist in like the last 4. Or
he's got 9 assists and he's got 5 goals this season. Second joint top scorer, or joint second top scorer, sorry, behind Rodrigo. Joint
so you play,
but more than double anybody else's assists.
So I'd play him. I'll put him on the left, and then play Sinisterra on the right. Then I'll put Rodrigo in like the cam second striker, and then play Bamford up top.
Okay, Jay, same question.
Probably similar. I could see Rodrigo playing as shadow striker rather. But back to the question about like getting Nanto and Cini in the side together. Do you think one of them could come inside and replace Aronson maybe?
Yeah.
Because that would be the obvious swap for me. That's who I'd take out. And I thought he had quite a good game last night, to be fair. Everyone did, to be fair. But he's probably the person I'd expend for one of those.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You mean Aronson's the one you?
Yeah, Aronson. Yeah, he's the one I'd take out.
Would be the one you dropped. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fair. So Cini surprised me on the left because I thought that his position was on the right because that's where he'd been playing when he first came into the side.
Yeah.
However, when he played on the right, he drifted inside quite a bit. So I think that he's perfectly capable. You know, he looks after the ball well enough. He's good enough at passing, and he's tricky enough to be able to play in that inside role.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Jay, I think the answer is yes. So I would hesitantly would maybe play Harrison on the right because although he doesn't play as well on the right as he does on the left, he had a good game last night and he started on the right.
He did, yeah.
With Cini on the left, and I think Willie on the left. Now, the thing about that is I would also be saying to them, change it up, swap sides. Do the same job, do the same covering. The both will work back, so there's no issue there. But just mess with your opposite number. Just get in there and get in their heads. So I would probably start with Jack on the right because I think Willie is a lot better on the left than where else I've seen him. With Cini in the middle and with either Rodrigo or Paddy, depending on who's in form at the moment.
Sure. Danny Rumsey, he's gone for Cini on the left, Nanto at 10, Jackie on the right, Bamford up top. I think either would work though.
I think it depends who we play. Like, if we play like a certain defensive team, Bamford's better or Rodrigo, because sometimes teams, maybe we can get in behind with someone faster, you play Rodrigo, and then Bamford's high-up play is like... Yeah. People said Bamford was... I saw people on Twitter saying Bamford was terrible. I don't think it was that. I think he had a decent performance. I don't think he was terrible.
I think in
I
terms
thought
of his all-round play, I think he was effective for the side. So when we were watching him playing for Bielsa, and we were thinking, we're a completely different side without him.
Yeah.
But he was scoring goals under Bielsa. 16 in our promotion season, 17 in our first season back. What he didn't look like he had the sharpness in front of goal. But there were several occasions, and one of them really, really got up my nose. But there were several occasions when he were fighting for the ball, he were holding it up. There were a couple of times I turned and said, if that's not Bamford, if that's anybody else, they're just attacking our goal right now because he's the only one that will do that role up front for us.
Yeah,
that's in our squad. It's
true that, and it's such a shame that he does everything but score.
Yeah.
What annoyed me was the chance where the two players went up for the header at the same time and it drops to me. He has to hit the target at least, or he could have took another touch or two.
He did have a long time, and maybe you're thinking, well, they've tackled each other in the air and taken each other out, but he can't see what's going on behind him. So you're thinking, well, at least one of them surely is still on his feet and bearing down on me. So you can see why you might have.
3-1 Newcastle.
Yes,
no, that's good news. That'll do.
Sorry, Matt,
Wilson. It's Wilson.
Yeah, you can see why you might have taken that. Why might not have taken that extra touch, thinking somebody's going to be bearing down on me here. But he is a Premier League striker with the ball at his feet and nobody actually pressuring him at that point. You're absolutely right. He's got to hit the target. He just has to. And I went 3-1 in the predictions league.
So did I, mate. But I thought I'd gone 2-1, so I was buzzing at the time.
I have double checked. You definitely went 3-1, I'm afraid. A little bit of a spoiler, but I'm just going to point out that Smarty was on -5 and got the score right, so he did get himself back to 0.
Unbelievable. Fuck's sake.
So yeah, we talked about Jackie's goal and we talked about Sinny's goal and their goal. So Jay, I'll come to you for this one. Half time, we go in at half time with 2-1.
Yeah.
How are you feeling at that point?
I was well pleased. I was related. We'd come from behind as well, which made it even more special for me. Just as I was saying before, the fact that we just went back to what we were doing, stuck to the game plan, no panic, no one gave up. Yeah, I were really, really pleased. I thought, this game could only go in one direction from here, and I did expect us to score more goals, but yeah.
No, that's fair. So when you say expect us to score more goals, at 2-1 at half time, what do you think the score's going to end up being?
I thought we'd go on to 3 or 4. I thought 3 or 4-1. I really did. We should have, arguably. So,
I think it's, we were beaten 4-1 by a better side against Arsenal. And I think, when I was talking about the game, I think the first half hour we gave them a real game. They really had to work for that, and I didn't really think it would have penalty, but they knew they were in a game. In the end, they kind of ran out at a counter. That last 10-15 minutes were pretty easy for them. But they had to work for it. But it felt at half time like this was an opportunity to right the wrong in terms of our goal difference that had taken a bit of a backward step against Arsenal. Not a battering or whatever. 3 goals difference against a champions elect side is not embarrassing by any stretch, but it was a little bit of a backward step compared to where we'd been, and it's so tight at this point that the odd goal might be important at some point.
Yeah, I said exactly this. I was like, we need some goal difference here. We need to take advantage in a game like this where we're absolutely on top and hammer that home a bit, but it just wasn't to be. But, at the same time, I have to say, as well as we played for the most part, it was nervy every time they got a break. We did not look solid at the back when we were trying to defend a break from them like that. You could see, again, that we were missing Verba.
Yeah. It was that ball they played when Shelby came on. They were showing a replay, and all of a sudden he just sprays it forward, and all of a sudden they're in, and then Firpo locks it.
I'm glad that he didn't get any joy out of the game. I absolutely hate the fucker.
I mean, it's not fair then bringing on a Dark Lord World famous wizard, is it? It's just,
I was nervous when he came on because last time he scored against us was the free kick.
He did. And there must have been some magic on that as well because it was straight at Melia and it still went in. So you know what's going on there. Something not quite right. So so coming into the second half, Matt, were you surprised that we didn't make any changes at that point?
No, I thought honestly, I thought we were making a bit earlier than what we did. We kind of left. They made I think they made all their 5 subs before we made one. They made 4 before we made one.
Steve Cooper rolling dice.
So if who would you have changed then, and at what point?
Probably the 60th minute, I would have brought Rodrigo and Aronson, and that's probably about it.
I played him in that 10.
Yeah. And then when we got to the 70th, you bring on I thought we were going to bring on Cooper because he was kind of warming up a bit. I'm like, is he coming on? Yeah, it's a short.
Cooper and Rasmus warmed up for almost the entire game because it was right in front of us. Rasmus were going through a properly strenuous warm up from the 20-odd minute. I'm not even kidding.
That's bizarre.
And he wasn't just jogging. You know, sometimes they just move around and you're thinking, yeah, you're just sat on bench cold. He wasn't that. He were properly warming up all the way through the game from the 22nd minute or something mad.
Must have thought he were coming on, poor lad.
Well, maybe he were looking at Ayling and thinking, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, maybe so. I've got to say, Ayling, he was decent going forward, but he worried me at the back a few times last night.
There were a couple of
and
times.
He's done that a lot recently.
I mean, he gave away the goal.
Yeah, well, I think the point that, Matt, you were just making in terms of Firpo, I think that came from... Well, it was pretty much so Ayling and Cox together contrived to give them a clear run on goal, and then all of a sudden Firpo were there.
Jamie's saying I'm liking Firpo recently. What a change of form. I absolutely agree with that as well. Just he's been immense. And when he dug Cock out the shit, that was just awesome. It was great to see. You can tell he loves playing for us, even though he got a load of stick. Clearly enjoys it out there.
I mean, he even said himself he's his own. He's his own worst criticism. What the word is? He criticizes himself more than anyone else does. Yeah, his
own worst critic.
Yeah, but he also said, playing with some width is brilliant.
Yeah. Everyone to know we have about 15 million wingers, and we actually.
It's one for you there, Gilly.
Christ, I've been bald almost as long as Luke's been alive. Hang on.
Luke's definitely contagious, so I'll definitely agree with that.
Here we go. Let's make it a bit better for him. There we go. I have to look at it now.
Fantastic.
Right, so we're into the second half, and again, I'm going to come to you, Jay, because for me, it was the impact on the fans was one of the biggest things. But McKennie's tackle.
Oh yeah.
Probably don't need to tell you which one. And I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it, but everybody around me went, yes!
Yeah.
I mean, nothing much really came from it, and it didn't even look like they were being particularly dangerous at the time. But we just really like that, don't we?
Yeah, that's what we want to see. Leeds midfield is synonymous with hard tackling midfielders. That's what we want. It were ace. I really enjoyed that, And it's just, it were good to see McKennie play how he did last night. I think he had a really solid game.
Yeah,
I think he needed that a lot.
Yeah,
him and Rocker were both great. Rocker had his best game in the Leeds shirt that second half.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that brings me on to the point that I wanted to talk about next in terms of the midfield. It didn't feel like Forrest necessarily had one, and I don't know if that's their setup. I don't know if that's because they were just completely dominated by Rocker and McKennie, but certainly. It was theirs. It was Rocker and McKennie that were in midfield, and it didn't feel like anybody was really up against them. Matt, is that how it felt on the broadcast? Is that what could you see that was the case?
Yeah, I mean, Rocker was amazing. Rocker was my man of the match, honestly, in that game. I think he was amazing. And McKennie was in the first half, he was spraying balls out wide, and I'm like, oh, he can pass. He's actually passing it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed both of their games, and now I've already mentioned about how much I enjoyed the the crunch. I would have centre half. I love the crunching tackle. That's what I like. David Batt is one of, if not the favourite player of mine. And you hark back to was it the friendly with the Italians coming over and him just shithousing him completely, and were it Mancini that completely just lost his head, it's that almost that shithousery without even caring, that's just shrug. I don't know what's up with you. I nearly broke your leg, but a fair tackle, so just get on with it. What's up with you?
Just looking at him. What's wrong with you? Come on.
Yeah.
They're like picking up the boot.
Yeah. So I think just the other point to come on to it was around the finishing. So my real concern through that second half, and I'll ask you both about this. My real concern for that second half was if we don't score while we're on top, we're going to concede. And that's how it felt to me. Is that just us being cynical as Leeds fans? Was it realistic? Were we ever in real danger?
It's always realistic when it's us. You see how easily we give chances away sometimes, and then that's it. It's just bang, it's gone. And how many times have we been on top for a 10, 15-minute spell, and then one ball breaks? Yeah. That's it. And we're a goal behind or we've conceded again. You're always going to be nervous, I think, watching the way we play at the moment with the personnel we've got. Yeah.
No, I think that's fair.
I think sorry, just one sec. We've got a comment that sort of relates to that there from Andy Aylor. Just saying, Ayling looks tired. He's put in some miles lately. Rasmus needs to step up. And I think that's a fair point. I think Ayling does look a bit jaded at the minute. He's gone from probably thinking, I'm not first choice this season now, to suddenly he's playing every game and he looks a bit knackered, to be fair. We don't do murder ball anymore.
No, that is fair. So just I just wanted to spin through some of the comments. So Ayling was a liability at times last night. I think we've kind of covered that one. Firpo played well. One from Paul Brennan. Firpo played well. If it wasn't for Firpo, Forrest would have got an equaliser. The whole team played for the shirt and all played well. Largely, I agree with that. My favourite player still in Robin Koch, I think is still the for me. Without Werber or Cooper, I think he's always got that in him to really make a howler of being in the wrong place at the wrong, not being in the right place at the right time. Just because, he's one of those players that actually, if you're watching on telly, I can see why people rate him, because when you're watching on telly, you're not looking at his positioning before the ball gets into a dangerous territory for us.
Yeah.
And it's only when the ball's played into that area and you see, right, okay, I've seen him tackle somebody, I've seen him beat somebody in the air, that's great. But when you're watching live, when you're there and you're looking at his positioning and he wanders around and you get caught out of position. So if he doesn't have somebody strong alongside him, which Strike isn't that yet, but might have that with experience. I think he's only 23 still now. I mean, something saying like that, Adams is 23 and he's Captain America, so age is better number maybe. Yeah, but Strike doesn't give me the impression that he's that kind of level of talker like Werber clearly is, like Adams is, like Cooper is, to manage somebody through a game. But for me, Koch is great in the air. He's a good tackler. He's strong, and he's not slow either. Once he's, I think he's not quite Sean Gregan turning around, but once he's turned round his quick enough,
Titanic himself.
Yeah, he might not be the quickest on the turn, but once he's running the right direction, he's not a slouch really. So I'm not fully denigrating him, even though it feels like I've just had another go at him again. But for me, I think it's most obvious when we don't have Cooper or Werber there that they're missing, and having one of them back, I think, really shores that defence up even further. Even though I thought Strike played well, but it's just that leadership bit maybe.
I'll never get Sorry.
Go on.
I'll never get my head around a professional Premier League level player needing someone to manage them and tell them where to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it does happen.
International level.
There is a clear difference when Verber or Cooper are not with him.
Yeah, there really is. Mark Wright, at least being at the game, you didn't have to listen to Paul Robinson. Jesus.
Thank God for that, eh?
Here's the question that I saw. Go on, Matt.
Did you hear what they were saying? The commentary team was saying. They were saying Leeds. They kept saying, "Oh, Leeds only play one way. Leeds only play one way."
Right. I'm just gonna put this out there right now. Javi Gracia is a tactical smorgasbord. The man has got a plan for every situation, and I'm not having it. Last night, I turned around to somebody and said, "See, he's proven that he can play exciting football." Because everyone thought, "Oh, he can only do negative football. We're going to defend and stand off." Not at all. Completely different game plan. I can't speak. Completely different style of play. He clearly sets up specifically for teams, and it's brilliant to see.
If we play against Arsenal the way that we played last night, 4-1's a handsome win, but it would have been worse than that. It really would have been worse than that.
Brendan Scott says Paul Robinson is a pickled herring.
Okay. Just back to Mark's point. In terms of the media, so ex-players being summarisers and whatever else, commentary team. There was a poll. So I'm not going to name any because there were a couple that weren't in the poll of people saying, "I can't believe that he wasn't in there." But just in terms of people that have been with our club and then no longer are, who would you say is the worst? Jay, I'll come to you first.
Oh, God. You'll have to repeat that to me because I was looking at the bloody comments and it's gone in one ear and out the other.
In terms of being in the media, being on Paul Robinson has been named in the question anyway. Well, I'll just name a couple. So Paul Robinson, Danny Mills,
Jesus Christ,
Hasselbank, the people that have played for our side but still don't know what they're talking about. Who do you rank as the worst?
Out of people who've actually played for us?
Yeah.
Oh God. I'm stuck. I think they're all equally as bad, those three that you mentioned.
Now, Beckford got mentioned.
Did you mention
now, the
Beckford?
thing with that?
No, he's great.
Well, the thing with that is somebody else made the point of, no, he's shit. He's just nice to us.
Nah, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. The man's played at all levels. He knows.
Matt, who you got? Can you name one?
No, can't name one. They're terrible.
I'll tell you, I don't miss commentating on us now. We're not in the Championship anymore. Don fucking Goodman.
Well, he's somebody else that were at our club and we've been, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't really think of him as a former player.
No, I get that. No, for me, I did go Hasselbank, and the reason I went Hasselbank out of the options given is Karen Carney. When talking about the only reason that we got promoted, even though we were on absolute on fire before the break, and then we got beat by Cardiff after the break, blamed COVID for us getting promoted. And during that absolute bullshit spiel of just complete effluent that she was spewing at the side of the pitch, Hasselbank was in the background going spot on. And I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. So
that's because he didn't have an opinion of his own or anything to say. So he just agreed with her and made an even bigger tit of himself than he would if he'd just come up with something on the spot.
Yes. So for that reason, do you know what? There was a Leeds fan on Twitter today saying Karen Carney's not that bad. She doesn't have any great insight, but she's not that bad. I'm absolutely not having any of that at all. Terrible.
I'll try to click on. It's a comment from Skip. Keith Andrews, not a former player, but he's a prick. He's
another one I don't miss. Yeah. We had him a lot in Championship, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I'd forgotten about Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Probably because I don't consider him a pundit.
True. Spinning through some more comments. There's one good thing which we haven't had for years is quality coming off the bench when everyone's fit. I mean, you look at the bench that we've got at the moment, and there's depth there, and that is really something that you look at the Bielsa team and the sort of, the kids that we were having to rely on to sit on that bench. The number of subs that you can make now, it makes it even more important to have that depth.
We've got actual game changers.
Yeah, we have.
Which is
and
amazing.
Actual, not even game changers. You look at the defense, we've got actual defenders that can come on to replace actual defenders in the position that they play.
Fullbacks to come on and all sorts.
It's just amazing.
Crazy.
So no, that's good as well. Here's a point on Aronson. 1 goal in 29 games. I think it's 2,294 minutes he's played and he scored 1 goal.
And the goal was handed to him.
It's not good, is it?
I mean, to be fair, he was
well.
closing down, wasn't it? But it was Chelsea, wasn't it, that he scored the goal against, and he was the one that closed down. But I mean, that's is that an indictment of his game? Is there more to it?
Has he actually had like a clear chance, like many clear chances where he's like through on goal? I don't think he gets many.
I don't remember many.
He always hits them, and then normally he gets scored.
Didn't he whack a free kick
not down to him
the other week?
He did.
Yeah, he almost scored.
He did, yeah. But is that not down to him? Because if everybody else is getting chances and he's the only one that's not, isn't that getting in the right position?
In English football, he's not going to muscle his way into the box, is he? The way he's going.
He bodied someone. I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but he bodied one of their players, and I was laughing.
For a cardboard cutout.
Aronson did.
It must have been a cardboard cutout. It can't have been an actual person. No way.
I'm pretty sure he shouldered someone off the ball. I was like,
imagine getting flattened by Aronson. Never show your face.
You have to retire, wouldn't you? That's it. I'm done. Just walk off the pitch.
This game in for me.
I mean, now that Stroik's cut his hair, he's got a quite similar hair to Aronson, but he's very different build. Are you sure it wasn't Stroik that bodied somebody, not Aronson?
I don't think it was on the attack. I think it was in the box or something.
Wow. I missed that one. I missed that one. Right, okay. So Danny's comment on so thanks, Jay. Jay's been highlighting some of these as we've gone through, so we've just been going through them. So Danny says, Rocker, my man of the match, was immense. So I'll come to you both now and put you on the spot and ask you who your man of the match was. Matt, I think I'll come to you first, Matt, because I think you've already said.
Yeah, Rocker. Amazing. Probably his best performance we've seen in a league shirt, definitely.
Yeah. It's hard to argue. Certainly one of, if not the best from him. Jay?
I think just to be different, and because I've given him a bit of stick lately, I'll go for Jackie. He needs a bit of love.
So mine was Jackie, but just because you've said him, I'm going to say McKenny.
If you'd have said Jackie, I'd have gone for Sinisterra.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of good performances out there, and I think that's one thing that you look at the game and the setup and the comments that Firpo's made about the way that they play under Gracia now and how the fact that we're playing with some width and there's some people in front of him that are his teammates that he can pass to, he can run inside, he can run outside.
Yeah.
The fact that Firpo can see that, but our previous gaffer could not is let's gloss over that. But Firpo's stepped up a level. I think Jackie, if you look at Jackie's performances and his return, his goals and assists return since the managerial change, the fact that he's not being expected to play tiki-taka in a 10 role, which is just not his game. It's absolutely not his game. No, the fact he's no good at it is not, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it's that sort of stuff, isn't it? It's not his game. It's not what he does.
That's it, exactly.
So, Willie has had a touch of class since he came in. I think Jimmy had played well already. Cine coming back to fitness is a big deal for us. We'd seen early on in the season. Rodrigo's had I think even taking into account the periods he's spent out with injury, it's a decent season he's had. He's in double figures in the Premier League as a goal scorer, so that's fair. Bamford's the one, isn't it? He's the outlier.
I'm happy for him that he got 90 minutes. He got 90 minutes today. Not today. When we play, so it's good for him because he needs that. He needs that time on the field.
Do you think that the 90 minutes means he won't start against Palace, or do you think it would just purely that the manager thinks he is fit enough now?
I mean, Gracia said he's his main striker. He said he's my go-to striker. Because
I think he needs to hear that as well.
Oh, he does.
I really think he needs that. You know, you look at Villa and the fact that they've sold Danny Ings, and then you look at the way that Watkins has been playing recently. He's been told he's the main man.
Yeah.
And I think you look at the way that Bielsa handled Bamford and the goal return he got from him, because he made him his main man. And he said, you know, you're my goals, you're my 9, you're going to start up front every game that you're ready for, so be ready for them. And
that's what Bamford said, didn't he, in an interview? He's like, I've always wanted to be the main man, but never got the chance.
Did, when he first signed. Yeah.
He used to play as a. Did he used to be a winger?
No. I think he was just one of them players. I think he was one of them players that just got shoved wherever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need a body up front somewhere, so we'll put him over there as an attacking player.
And he's surprisingly quick, isn't he?
He is, actually.
I think even when we had Dan James in, I think he was clocked at being the fastest in a game. When everybody's going, well, Dan James is just quick as shit, so he's going to... But then Bamford was quicker than him. It's like, well, what's the point in having him then?
Do you give Dan James a chance? Do you think he comes back and gets a chance?
Nah,
nothing.
His time's been and gone.
I mean, we have about 6-7 wingers, so I don't think he will.
Well, do you know what? We've got an embarrassment of riches in those positions. You know, we spoke before about the front 4 positions, and we all came up with different options, and that's without him being thrown into the mix. It's a difficult one for anybody to get into there, I think.
Even if we got... Sorry, Matt, go on.
No one said Ruter either, and I think he's a right winger.
I kind of forgotten about him.
He's a right winger. Like people
we
always
didn't even mention him.
People want to put him up front, but he's a winger. Like we signed a winger, but people think he's a striker because we needed a striker.
Yeah,
he looks to me like someone who, and I hate to say this to compare, but he looks to me like more of a Rashford type of forward. You know, just the style and the sort of the positioning, the sort of runs he makes.
Rashford's
maybe not quite as quick, but just how he is, I think. The way
I had him more as a
Berbatov,
but later on in his career. Sorry, not Berbatov's career. I mean, in Rutter's career, I think he's got the ability to grow into being, you know, having the touch, having the capability. He's not the quickest, so he's going to have to be quick upstairs to be able to really have an impact on the game and across his career, isn't he?
I mean, we've seen he's got so much skill. Like the game against Southampton, where he's on the wing and he's like in the corner, and he just buys past players so easily.
Yeah, and he can beat a man. There's no two ways about it. So you know, I think it's one of those where in the right environment, he looks like he's somebody that's got capability. I think as fans, we've just got to be patient with him, haven't we? Which, to be fair, Jimmy's still a kid and Willie's even younger, and we've both we've all said they need to be playing. Which maybe even that, you know, I said about Grassi being a bit canny with Willie about how much game time, how many starts he gets. I think it's really important that we don't overload them too early. You know, we've talked a lot about the way that Foden were managed. He was clearly class, but he was restricted in terms of game time, and he was managed through that. And then he looks like he's going to be a game winner in any game he plays, doesn't he? So it is important that we do that. And I think Skip's making the point with Ruta there. I think he would even more than that, wasn't he? Crazy to think we've got a £30 million player on the bench. Our bench is certainly looking better. It really is.
Yeah, we've got that thing we were talking about now, depth. There's actual options and talent there to come on, not just unproven kids or people being forced to play positions they're not familiar with. Yeah, that's massive. That's a big step forward. It's another one of them things. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't. I didn't actually know
that. Early new baby probably not getting any sleep. Genuinely,
I bet he's knackered.
That might be impacting him. I mean, it is. It could be that. So yeah, I think you know, going back to Ruta, I think it's really important that as fans we don't go, well, you know, he was so expensive, he needs to be what we need in the first team right now, because it's just not realistic, is it?
No, that's it, and you can't dictate your team selection by price tag at players.
Yeah,
it's got to be the right man for the job on the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Jammy's being nice with us. I know that Jammy's main man's not here. He's a big advocate for Luke. But the strange thing about OKB is I actually like all its hosts. I mean, he sounds surprised. I don't know what we. I mean, each one brings something different to the channel. I mean, it's lovely having you along. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. Cheers for that, Jamie.
Here's one, Matt. I'm going to come to you for this one. Does Cooper come back into the team?
I think Cooper's under. I love Cooper. Like, I think he's done so much. I think he gets disrespected.
Oh, I'm off. You two can just talk to each other.
But no. I think he still has. I still think he can do a job. Like, I still believe. Like, he is. If you wouldn't have saw it, but at halftime as they're walking off, they panned the picture to like the players walking off, and he's talking to like him and Harrison. Like, he's talking to Harrison. I don't know if that's like tactics or something, because I mean Cooper's like a great captain, a great leader, and even when he doesn't play, his leadership's still there. So I wouldn't want him to go, but I still think he can play. He can play next to Cock or Strauch. I think more Cock. I'd like to see Vobra and Cooper. I think that'll be a good partnership.
I would too, and I think the other bit is, we saw it was Wolves, wasn't it? We saw that we switched to a back three, and I think having Vobra and Cooper playing together with somebody else. If we're going to move to a back three because Gracia thinks that the shape of the game needs that sort of thing, or whatever that might be, if he thinks that the personnel that we've got elsewhere on the pitch is going to be benefited by having three at the back instead of two centre backs, whatever that might be, I think the great thing about it is options, and we've got these options at a point at which we've got a manager that's capable of using them. I love Bielsa. I love, and Bielsa made us all fall in love with football all over again, didn't he?
He did.
But he had one option, and Plan B was make Plan A better.
Yeah.
And it was square pegs in round holes at times, and that was frustrating to us. I think, certainly frustrating to me. But what we've got in Gracia is a manager that's not shy about making the changes that he thinks are right, whether that's personnel, whether that's formation. He will just make the changes that he thinks are right. So,
and I don't think he's got one wrong yet.
I agree. Even the 4-1 against Arsenal, I think if they don't get the penalty, which, as I said, I don't think is a penalty, I certainly think it ends up a lot closer than it ran out to be in the end.
I think there's a strong chance that game would have been level at half time had they not got that penalty. We looked decent. We were standing up to them. We were solid. We were organised. It just turned the tide, didn't it?
It did. Andy makes the point. So much depth in attack, great problem to have, trying to pick the front four. I think it's a great problem that we've got, in that I think one of the real clear elements that is important to the club is bringing in good people as well as good players.
Yes.
And I think that's a real important element. And you look at the job that Cooper's got on at Forrest, and trying to make something out of all of those individuals that have just been lumped into one squad together. I made the point to Luke earlier on Twitter. I think it's a manful job that he's done to not have them cut adrift already at this point. Just because of the sheer volume of people that they brought in, to the point where they signed O'Brien for genuine money. They spent money on him, and then never even gave him a squad position. Yeah.
That's fucking horrible to do to a player. That to bring someone there when they're established at a club, and there's other interest in him, and they've taken him, and then they've done that to him, just hung him out to dry, stifled his career, and just paused it. That's like that.
Well, now he's ended up in MLS.
Yeah, because they saw another shiny thing they wanted to buy. Yeah. It wasn't even that shiny.
And I think the thing with that is, I don't think he could register for another UK team. Or
English team. He played at two clubs in the same
He'd been registered for two clubs, so he had to go elsewhere as well. So, I mean, that's real awful. Yeah, really did.
He's not going to want to go back there. And if you're one of the other players playing there, like how much trust are you going to have in the board if you can see him do that to one of your mates? You know what I mean? Who's next? Yeah, who's next?
I've got a question. Do we bring Gallagher back, or do we send him out on loan for another season?
Another season
I think that depends on fitness.
I don't think there's any room for him at the moment. I
think it depends on fitness, and the reason that I say that is, we've seen Paddy and Rodrigo have spells out of the team, and you can't recall during the normal season So I think it depends on how confident they are on the fitness of the front two. If they end the season flying and it looks like everything's well and the issues that they've had are gone. But Rodrigo, I think, is going to be 32 by the time the start of the next season rolls around. You can only really expect the injury issues that he's had because he's had, two, not major, but 2 spells out already this season. Surely that's only going to increase over time.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I'd be dead if I tried to do that walk you're doing, mate. So God knows how he's getting on with actual injuries. But I think, provided we stay up, I think there needs to be a big striker signing, like someone proven. I think there just absolutely has to be. As you say, Rodrigo's not getting any younger. Bamford's not firing. We don't have anyone else who's a proven striker, and we're going to need someone if we're going to do anything.
To be fair, I were kicking and screaming for Skamaka before the start of the season, and he's not set the world on fire.
He'd been phenomenal for us, I reckon.
But he'd played really well. Yeah, he'd played really well in Italy last season, and I was screaming for him. So we just go out and get Osimhen from Napoli, just firing them to 18 points clear at top of the league and that sort of thing.
You say like another striker. Nonto can play. Nonto's a striker. You can put him up front.
Yeah, he can play there. I think again, Ruta can play up there. Willie can play up there. I think Cini probably can play up there. But if you're really going to make a statement, bringing in somebody that's what's happened, Jay?
So the ball's just gone over the top. Fabianski's run out and he's leapt at it well out of his box and tried to just hit it. And I can't see who the Newcastle player was, but he's just gone directly onto his chest. He's chested it, lobbed it, goal from miles out.
So it's 4-1.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's Isaac. Isaac, or however you say it. Isak, that's it. Yeah, that were quality. That were sorry. We're just
no, you're fine. No, you're fine. Jamie makes the point. I never sleep. I'm gabbing to 2-year-old alien of sympathy.
You've been there, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah, I have.
Is it as awful as it sounds?
Do you know what? It's ace because I used to go in and just sit there and they'd wake up and I'd be there and reading to him and stuff. I'd proper babied him to a point, I suppose. But it is different. It is different, but it puts a new perspective and perception on life, I guess. So yeah, it can be tough.
Wait me a sec. Someone's knocking at my door for some reason.
Yeah, no. What? 9:15 at night? Tell them to piss off. Matt, then, question for you. Imagine if you started Rafinha back in his team, who would miss out?
Don't want Rafinha. He said his favourite clubs are Arsenal and PSG.
Would Rafinha miss out then?
Yes. Because he said his favourite clubs are Arsenal and PSG. I don't want him.
He did. His favourite non-Spanish club, wasn't it?
Yep.
Not to piss off the Barca fans.
Not even us.
Here's a different one then. Somebody that's still on our books. Where does Dallas fit in this squad when back?
You could put Dallas where Aronson is even.
You could put Dallas wherever he was.
You could put him a goalkeeper, yeah.
Yeah. I in terms of fitting the squad, I think where he fits is on the bench.
Yeah.
But he's somebody that can come into so many different positions. I think you can't drop Firpo at the moment. He's probably a better right back than either of our two specialist right backs. So he might start there.
Dallas hasn't really had a bad year, really. The first season he was amazing. Second year before he got injured, he was amazing. He hasn't he's kind of underrated, really. In the Premier League. I
think he's underrated outside of Leeds fans, isn't he? But I think Leeds fans all rate him. He's one of those where I really rate Harrison, but a lot of people will have a go at him. I rate Bamford, but a lot of people have a go at him. I rate Cooper, but Jay hates him. Jay rims cock, but I have a go at him. I've never seen and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, is I've never seen a Leeds fan have a go at Dallas.
No, never. That were a takeaway for next door, by the way.
Right. Okay.
I don't know what the fuck were going on.
He is one, though. And I think we can probably all agree with this. And this echoes the point that Matt made about how good a person and how good a captain he's been. It would be great to see Coops get a testimonial. You look at the managers that guy has played under. You look just the list of managers that he's played under.
I pray when he leaves, we don't ruin it. Like, we don't have like a thing where we don't know if we're going to renew his contract. I hope we make it like a special last game for him.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I think he deserves that. You know, I've criticised him plenty in the past, but clearly loves Leeds, and he's a great motivator and a good captain. You know.
Yeah,
he's earned that. I think
it would be great to see him have a testimonial. You know, to echo Matt's point, you know, doing what happened with Click, I'd hate to see that happen. And I know that he got to come back and we got to say bye to him, but still, you know, it left a sour taste, didn't it? The fact that we didn't know, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
So no, it needs to be done right. Michael Gott makes a point. MB knew how to change it, but was too stubborn sometimes. I think that's fair. Whatever you feel about Bielsa, I think him being stubborn was something that many people have said in the past. Marsh didn't know how to change it and couldn't. I think that's also fair. Where Grassi knows how to change it and does it, and I think that's the point. Is he'll make the decisions and he'll make them when they need to be made. When he sees fit. So no, I think that is fair. Clayton says, I have a hard time thinking that if Grassi keeps us up, the fans wouldn't be singing his name after the last game of the season. If that happens, how does the board not give him the job? Matt, there's a lot of talk about the next gaffer. Where's your head at? Does he automatically get it if he keeps us up? Yeah. Does he need to keep us up handsomely? What?
I mean, he's doing such an amazing job. Like, I would give him a chance because the way he plays, the way he makes us play, we look 10 times better. We play different, you know, we can play different each time. I think he's going to take us to Europe.
Good man. What about you, Jay? Where's your head at with him now?
Well, I said before, I think if he keeps us up, he earns the right to get a proper crack at it. And I think after seeing that
just
last
like
night
Marsh
as
did.
well. Yeah, but do you know what? This is just, it's so far from Jesse Marsh.
It really is.
The point that we were just immense last night and played a complete different style has shown that he can coach these players, he can get his ideas across, and he can get them to do what needs to be done on a per game basis. They're not like rigidly following one set plan and unable to adapt. This guy is getting right in there with them and getting them playing exactly how he wants them to play every single game. And I don't think you can just remove somebody who's done that kind of job. I mean, somebody mentioned Iriola has not won a game since being linked with us. So, you know, I don't want to see somebody come in hoping that it'll work if we have something that is working.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the only one thing I would say is throughout his career, he's not been somebody with longevity at a team, at a club. But the context of that as well is neither was Bielsa.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was with us longer than anybody else.
Sometimes it just fits. Sometimes.
Yeah. He took
that remains.
Final.
It remains to be seen whether it fits long term, but you can't write someone off just on that basis for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then Michael Gott says Dallas can be I mean, he says utility. I'm assuming he means a utensil player.
He does. He means a utensil player.
Cool. Okay. I do have just 2 or 3 things to run through. So just to come back to you guys then, anything that we've not discussed so far that you wanted to? Anything that you wanted to say?
I will give a shout out to Somerville because I've hammered him for not doing anything defensively. And last night when he ran all the way back and he made that tackle to stop him getting a crossing, that were immense. That he proper busted a gut to do that, and nobody else would have been able to get there and do it. So big up for him. And also the ref was shite. He gave a free kick for a guy who fell over his own legs right in front of us in that corner. Yeah,
but then he doesn't
give us anything. Didn't give us anything. Gave that guy a free kick. he then let him take that free kick 10 or 15 yards further up the pitch. He let the same thing happen with a throw-in that went out near the corner flag. And also, after all that bullshit, he pulled play back when that ball were on for Rodrigo on wing. And he were in. And I can't forgive him for that. He was a shocking referee.
So I will counter that and say, actually, on balance across the entire game, I thought he did fairly well. 5-1. Wow.
I think Moyes.
Do we think that's the end of Moyes?
I think so.
I don't think you can sack your manager now. I don't think
he's not doing good, is he?
But then I think if they sack him now, they're definitely done.
Yeah, but if it looks like you're definitely going down in your opinion, then what have you got to lose? It's a roll of the dice, isn't it, at this point?
It is.
Anyway, back to what you were saying, Gilly.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, I think on balance across the entire game, other than those anomalous pieces that you've pointed out, I mean, I put it in our group chat earlier, didn't I? I just remembered about it and I was spitting feathers again. I was proper fuming about it because Rodrigo has played in such a way this season that if you give him that chance,
he'll put it away.
Largely, he's going to score it.
He's the man you most trust to score at the moment.
Yeah. So
he can fuck off, that referee. Who was it, by the way?
But yeah, but I thought overall, I thought, sometimes there was shithousery from them that he wasn't putting up with. He called them out for shit that they were play acting and whatever else. He had a go at them when they were slow playing. He told them. And as I say, I really enjoyed them having to rush to play properly.
I don't think he was biased against us. I just don't think he was very good. Yeah,
I mean, that's all an opinion piece, isn't it? I guess I'm just judging him against some of the refs we've had earlier in the season, and I didn't think he was that bad compared to some of the shite that we have had.
No,
Matt, any other points that you wanted to make?
No, not really, no.
Cool. No, so I did want to mention a couple of things. So, first off, the piece around Ramadan, there was a break in play. We didn't really understand it. I wasn't sure what was going on. There were a lot of booing going on. I think most of the booing was because we thought they were wasting time, because that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like they were just chilling out at the sideline talking to the coaching team.
I booed because I thought it was taking piss.
Yeah, it looked like
I didn't know what were happening.
I think our club can handle that better.
Yeah.
Tannoy or putting something on the scoreboard or whatever that might be. I think when you understand, and I'll be honest, I didn't get this point. I thought that their fasting was that they couldn't eat. But they can't drink water, they can't drink anything.
You can't take in anything.
Trying to be an elite athlete and not trying to be an elite athlete and not drink any water, I think is that's a thing. I think it's daft that we didn't just push the kickoff time back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that too. What difference does it really make? But then it's probably international broadcasting things that they have in place, Maybe
so, but 15
minutes.
Thing
that, I know. The thing that irks
any of
me
the coverage is
going
to go beyond the kickoff anyway, isn't it? So surely they can just move it back within the same programming. It seems mad, doesn't it?
The thing that irks me about it the most is last night. It really bothered me. They had time to put numerous adverts up on the big screen during the game, but they couldn't give us any information to let us know what were happening and stop us from looking like a bunch of arseholes for booing a bloke breaking his fast.
Well, yeah, but not just that. Gail made the point. I mean, we get really mad about it, but every time the ball goes out of play, invariably, as a fan, when you're in the stadium, you look at the clock to see how long it's gone.
That's right.
Every time the ball went out of play, that's when they put an advert up and you couldn't see how long left in game.
I hope they made some good coin off that, because it pissed me off no end.
It was maddening, wasn't it? It was really maddening.
It was. That could be an bit of this.
Did you see there was a Forrest vlog that went out, and we turned around for Chris and Kev. That someone goes, they're doing the Poznan.
Yeah, apparently somebody said the same in the commentary. That was the next point I was going to come on to. I think in the stadium last night when it started, because there was one guy in front of us that turned around and he said it's for Chris and Kev, and there were some people looking quite quizzically at each other because nobody else was doing it. and then actually we realised that the South Stand had started, but because of the screen, we couldn't see what time it was because it was the 23rd minute, but nobody could see how far into the game we were. So I'll be honest, and a bit of a tip hat to the Forest fans as well. I think they observed it with us. I don't know if they turned round or not because I was basically in the same stand as them, but it sounded like there were no booing or anything like that. I think it seemed as though they were clapping along with us, and it's tough to know that you're in a tight game and you're there to watch the game. So it was kind of there were people stealing glances over the shoulders and then going, no, I shouldn't be doing that. Just about impeccably done, I think. And I don't know how you felt over the other side, Jay, and I don't know whether it came across on TV. I got a bit choked. It got to me a little bit. There were a lot of emotion flying around in the stadium at that point.
Yeah, you could feel it where I was. Everyone turned around in our stand. So, yeah, it was good. It was a nice little tribute from the fans there.
And it was fan led, wasn't it? It wasn't a club thing. Although the one thing I would say, I mean, especially after last year when it wasn't clearly it wasn't seen as a priority, or it was just overseen or overlooked or whatever that might be. I saw, Cooper's involved in these sorts of things, but there were multiple players and some of the board that were there with the family, and they took some flowers down, and
I heard about
it looked
that,
like the club had, and there was a memorial service today at 2:00.
That's nice.
At the plaque.
That's
nice. And that's how it needs to be. Never forgotten. Is something
100%.
that needs to run through the club. The one thing I would say, I hate both clubs. I really hate both clubs. But Liverpool and Manchester United retweeted and quote tweeted the Chris and Kev stuff and said, this is poignant and this is, we're in a sport and nobody should go to a match and then not come home.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Making those points, and I think, I don't know if a lot of it's age, experience, maturity, whatever that might be. I think there are chants that some of our fans make that are distasteful and don't feel quite right. We've seen Turk flags and the dragging of fingers across the throat and that sort of awful nonsense.
You can't get upset about that and then chant stuff
it's
like the Munich song and things like that. You can't do it.
Yeah. So but I felt last night. I mean, like I say, I got emotional at the point. I got a bit choked up with it, and it was everybody has won. And as I say, there were a couple of glances that were stolen in terms of looking at the game to see what was going on, and then realizing and turning back round again. Because it's a natural thing, I guess. Something's going on behind you. You're going to have a quick glance, but it was well observed, and I don't know who it was, whether it was the supporters' trust or whether somebody had said it to them that we're already doing this or whatever. But it did seem good. It seemed powerful.
Yeah,
it seemed fun.
Yeah, it was good to see. We can be a bunch of arseholes at times, but when it matters, we
vile animals. We are.
Yeah, and we're proud of it.
And then just the last point that I wanted to make, Jay mentioned it just now, was around the challenge that we've undertaken as a group. So Jay and Smarty very, very quickly sidestepped this one to give it a full body swerve.
Absolutely, I know my limits.
Yeah, but I've put a couple of videos out. So very, very early yesterday morning, and then tonight I've put a couple of videos on Twitter. And I think if you go and watch them back to back, you can see the stark difference. So yesterday morning, it was cold, but it was sunny. I'd got up early and I were out before work and stuff, and I was feeling quite upbeat about things. I really didn't feel that way tonight while I was out walking, but
I bet you didn't.
So myself, Luke, Bren, Carl from Ought to Know Better, and Big Lou from LS11. We're all walking we're all moving under our own steam. Excuse me, from Elland Road to the Spurs Stadium and back by the end of the season. So that's 400 miles in 58 days, which is an average of just very little under 7 miles a day. So it's real tough going, and we will put the link out on the socials. If you can share that for us, that's great. If you can spare any money at all, I know it's difficult at the moment, the cost of living challenges that we've got and so on. But anything that can be spared, it's a really the charity do some really good work.
I'm just going to say thanks for that, Bremmer's Ghost. Jay's little legs mean he has to go twice as far as Gilly does. Exactly.
Well, that's true.
It won't be
fair. A giant. No, he doesn't have the same excuse. He's a
No,
giant.
he has to go half the distance.
Yeah. You'll be able to find it on our socials and what have you. But anything that can be spared is. We're really grateful for it. And if you can't spare anything, then, don't feel bad about it. But if you can share and retweet and, even just giving us some encouragement. I did struggle tonight. It was raining. The weather were horrible. And I kind of overstretched myself yesterday. I did over 12 miles yesterday.
So trying to get to the 7
I'd still got to the 7, but only just. Okay. But I was really towing. I was properly towing.
It's a good thing you're stubborn as fucking love a challenge, isn't it?
But, even the encouragement that we're getting online and stuff like that, it's a big deal to us. And just lastly, I've been in touch with the charity and they're going to be sharing some details with us and seeing if they can get us a video with some of the good work that they do. So we'll be putting that out and we'll be talking about that on the main pods. But I think what my throat is doing is saying, shut the fuck up, you've talked enough. So I've come to you both and asked if you've any comments. I think you're both done, but anything that's occurred while I've been waffling?
Not from me. Do we need to mention the shirt?
Oh shit, yeah. Go on, away you go.
Oh, I don't know all the bloody details, Gilly. I'm not the organised one on this podcast.
No, that's fair. No, Jay Michaels or Jay Susenko, I think he is on Twitter. Has kindly donated a signed shirt. I think it's from the 2001 season. He's donated that. The proceeds will be going to Andy's Man Club. So the way to get involved in that is it's a silent auction. So if you just want to put a bid in, so just DM us on Twitter or drop an email to the autoknowbetterpod@gmail.com address.
Fantastic shirt.
It is. It's really nice, and I am aware that there is at least one bid that's been placed because I'm aware of the numbers. But it's a silent auction, so I'm not going to mention what it is. But if you want to get involved, it is a very nice shirt. Sorry, just lastly, I've just seen one question. How's the steps going, Gilly? So personally, I am ahead of schedule. So that bit where Jay's just said, so you can do less one day. I've made sure I've got some in the bank.
Making it so you can have a week off, aren't you? And
well, I'm actually on holiday next week, so Monday to Friday. So we'll see how we get on. But it was tough today. It might be that there's a bit of fair weather to it, and when it's sunny, I'll do a bit more, and when it's rainy, I'll do a bit less.
Fair enough. Sounds like you're making an effort anyway, mate.
Yeah, we're giving it a go. And Matt Wright says, thought you were on about the leaked new shirt. No, that can absolutely get in the bin.
The fruit salad shirt.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, that can go bollocks.
It's awful. Unfortunately, Footy Insider have shared it, and they tend to get it right.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We can't turn out in that.
Now, the one thing is, there's the City of Culture or something associated with that. I'm hoping it's a special one-off that's not first, second, or third shirt.
Yeah.
And it could be a training top or something like that.
Maybe it's the one
legit.
Rads is going to start sending to random Z-list, whatever it is, in the next pre-season.
Cool. Okay. Right. I brought the one drink with me, and I've not really made any inroads to that. So I'm going to go enjoy the fact that West Ham have got absolutely rinsed. See if we can see some of the highlights of that and enjoy a beer, knowing that we're sat I think comfortably, maybe not, but we sat in mid-table, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. And let's bring on Crystal Palace.
Let's do it. Another
Cheers,
win
gents.
for the boys. Cheers, Matt. Cheers, Matt.
All right. See you in a bit.
Night.